So by now, chances are you've already jumped in a few runs of Elden Ring Nightreign. You've probably killed a couple bosses, maybe even started getting the hang of things. But here's the deal. Despite how straightforward the game looks at first, Nightreign is packed with hidden mechanics and tricks the game never actually tells you about. And if you want to consistently finish your runs and not get stumped halfway through, you really need to know this stuff. So today I've got you 10 tips and tricks for Elden Ring Nightreign that will straight up make your life easier. Trust me, once you start using those, your runs will feel smoother, faster, and way less painful. But let's get straight into it. And first trick is Spirit Streams equal free speed boosts. Spirit Streams are those glowing blue energy things that launch you into the air so you can reach high areas fast. Most players already know that they're used for vertical mobility, but what a lot of people don't realize is that they also give you a serious horizontal speed boost, meaning you can actually use them to get from point A to point B faster, not just higher. Here's an example. In this clip I go from the Spirit Stream to the nearby America's Church. The first time I use the Spirit Stream and reach it super fast. Second time I just run and use a movement skill, and I arrive noticeably slower. In fact, using the Spirit Stream got me there about 15 to 20% faster. This might not sound like much, but over the course of a full run, especially when the circle's closing in, the time adds up fast. So whenever possible, use Spirit Streams on your path, not just for the height but also for the speed bonus. Trick number 2. This is one of those tricks that most players overlook, because it might be counterintuitive. You're actually very much allowed to leave the safe zone after the circle closes, and you should totally use this for your advantage. Let me explain. After the zone shrinks first time and the first mandatory boss is dead, there's no reason to just sit around and wait for day 2 to start. As soon as you grab the power up from the boss, start immediately going toward your next location, even if it means stepping into the fire for a bit. Yes, it will damage you, but it will not kill you. At worst, you'll need to heal once, and chances are you'll refill your flasks along the way anyway. After the final boss of the second day, you can also step outside the circle to hit nearby objectives, like America's Church for example. One extra flask can make a huge difference in the final fight. Now, there are some mechanics that you need to understand to pull this off. First off, the damage from being outside the circle is flat, not percentage based, so the characters with more HP can survive outside longer. Secondly, after about 2 minutes outside the zone, the damage doubles, and that's when it really starts to hurt. But here's the trick: if you die or re-enter the circle, that 2-minute timer resets, so you can go out again. That means after beating the second boss, look at the map. Is there a Spirit Stream nearby? Maybe a church? A chest you can realistically reach in under 2 minutes? Then go grab it. It's 100% worth it. And even in worst case scenario, if you die, you will be still able to recover your runes. I think I even seen someone looting all of the nearby objectives and getting super powerful. Honestly, I'm almost certain that this will get patched eventually, but for now you can absolutely exploit this to get a few extra upgrades before the final fight. And tip number 3. Don't skip key interactions in some locations. Some spots on the map aren't just for killing bosses. They have mandatory interactions that are super easy to miss but are totally worth doing every time. Let's go through a few. If you're visiting a grand church, always open the metal chest, usually on the first floor, sometimes the second. It very often contains a stone sword key, which you'll need to unlock Abigail's later on. These keys are super valuable, so don't skip them. If you're in a fort, make sure to interact with the map. This marks special scraps on your map which drop various useful talismans, and also reveals treasure chest locations with sometimes very good loot. And third key interaction. If you're cleaning the central castle, don't leave it until you kill the lower floor boss. Once you do, you'll unlock access to the castle's center room, where you can open a chest and pick up one of the 3 presented talismans. There's not many ways of getting talismans in this game, so this one is kinda necessary. So my point is, some of the very good rewards in Nightreign come from quick, easy interactions, and skipping them means missing out big time. And trick number 4. Don't just lie there when you go down. This one sounds obvious, but so many players don't know it, or just forget in the heat of the moment. When you get knocked down, you're not actually dead. You can still crawl. So don't just lie there AFK waiting for someone to revive you. Instead, move toward a safe spot where your teammates can reach you easily. This trick is especially important if two people are down at the same time. If that happened to you, try to crawl toward each other. That way, your third teammate can revive you both at once with an AoE skill or ult. Trust me, this one simple trick can alone save you entire run. It's such a simple habit, but it makes a massive difference in clutch situations. So help your team help you. Tip number 5. Use your ultimate smartly. Now let's talk about ultimates, because yes, they're cool and strong, but don't just spam them the moment they're off cooldown if you're dealing with the final boss. As we talked in previous video, you're invincible while casting your ulti, and it usually deals huge AoE damage and stagger enemies. That means that it's way more than just a damage tool. It's also a life-saving utility, which is crucial when you're fighting the final boss. So instead of blowing your ulti just to chip off a couple hundred damage, try rather using it on things like dodging a boss's deadly attack by popping your ulti mid-cast. Also, you can interrupt major enemy abilities, like the Sleep Nuke Augur does, reviving teammates, especially if two of them are down and smart enough to crawl close together. All of that is way more valuable than a bit of extra DPS. And I want to make that perfectly clear, that you should save your ulti only when fighting the final boss. When it comes to normal bosses, most of the time you can spam your ulti and you will be alright. When it comes to final boss, the time is no longer valuable. Tip number 6. Don't ignore buff objects. There are a bunch of static objects around the map that give you temporary buffs, and for some reason a lot of players just run right past them. That's a big mistake. These things are super easy to activate and make a huge difference, especially before a boss fight. Here are the ones you really want to look out for. Golden bushes temporarily boost rune gain by 30%. The effect lasts about a minute. That's more than enough to kill a couple of bosses if you're fast. They are basically free XP multipliers, so try not to skip them. Campfires usually have fire butterflies in them, which give your weapon temporary fire damage and a bonus to overall damage. Super useful for most of the classes. There are also some secondary buffs. Blue bushes restore your mana. That's great for casters, especially if you use them mid-fight. White butterflies cure status ailments like, for example, curse buildup. Red berries heal your HP instantly. Even if those seem minor, remember that a lot of them spawn near bosses, so grabbing one before a fight or even during the fight can help you a lot, so don't forget to use them. Tip number 7. Use your consumables. No, for real, start using your consumables. Way too many players just run right past them, even though they can really help. No, you don't need to go out of your way and spend minutes looting every barrel or box. But if you pass by one, smash it and grab what's inside. You'd be surprised how useful those items are. Here are some standouts. Golden pickled foul feet has the same effect as the gold bushes we discussed before, the temporary boost rune gain. Just remember to use it before the boss dies to get the bonus. Starlight shards are useful if you have a caster in your team. Save these for them and hand them over before the final boss fight. They'll thank you later when they're not dry on mana halfway through the fight. Throwables like gravity stones or fire bombs are insanely effective in early game, especially before your weapons are upgraded. They often deal way more damage than your basic attacks. So the point I'm trying to make is most consumables are way more useful than they seem at first glance, especially if you use them at the right moment, and basically there's no reason to skip them. Tip number 8. Best weapon picks for every class. This one could honestly be its own full video, but let me give you a quick rundown of the best weapons for each class, so you're not accidentally skipping something perfect for your build. Let's start with Wilder. Honestly, almost any legendary two-handed sword works great here. Just focus on the matching element against the final boss. Damage is solid across the board. Guardian is by its nature a tank, and best item for him is the fingerprint stone shield. The block on that thing is very strong, and basically you'll feel unkillable with it. Next one is my favorite, Iron Eye. Most players assume that the Lion Grey bow is the way to go because it's only a legendary bow, but that's a huge misconception. It scales mostly with strength and not dex, axe, so it's a bad fit for Iron Eye. Stick to light bows because they all match with Iron Eye's scaling, unlike the heavy bows. As long as you find any light bow with the right elemental damage for the final boss, you're fine. Duchess is flexible, but if you're going with dagger style, grab the Glintstone Chris. It scales off intelligence, which she has plenty of, and fits her hybrid playstyle perfectly. Next is Recluse. Since spells are tied to your staff, make sure to carry multiple staffs during the run. But for the final boss, go for the Azure Glintstone Staff. It gives you Comet Azure, and unlike base Elden Ring, Nightreign actually lets you have enough breathing room to actually use it consistently. With Raider, you go for Godfrey's Axe. This one's no-brainer. The strength scaling is ideal, and it hits like a truck. For this class, it's more than enough. Next is Executor. This one has a lot of dex, but many people miss that this class also has a lot of arcane. So your absolute best weapons are Rivers of Blood and Eleanor's Pole Blade. These blades are made for Executor. Both scale beautifully and synergize with his parry-focused, fast-paced playstyle. Last one is Revenant. No super broken weapons here, but since she scales well with Fate, look for staffs and seals that let you cast faith-based spells. So bottom line is, know your class and know your scaling. The right weapon will carry you and the wrong one can easily ruin your whole run, like for example the Lion Greatbow on Iron Eye. This is speaking from experience. Tip number 9 actually relates to bosses' resistances. This is a tip most players don't pay nearly enough attention to, but it can make or break your run. Bosses have not only vulnerabilities, which most of you already know about, but also they have resistances. The game doesn't tell you about them, but they seriously impact how much damage you do. There's a community-based resistance chart floating around which you can see on your screen, and it's absolutely worth saving. It tells you exactly which elements bosses are weak to, and just as importantly, which they resist. So before starting a run, always check the chart, because if you're hitting a fire resistance boss with a fire weapon, congrats, you're doing the half of the damage you should be. On the flip side, if you match your element to their weakness, you'll shred through their HP like butter. Don't ignore resistances and remember to always check the chart. And lastly, tip number 10, just play with a party. Look, I get it. Maybe you don't have a group ready to go, but trust me, playing with an actual party makes Nightreign not just easier, it makes it way more fun. Yes, you can play solo or queue with randoms, but when you're running with people you can actually communicate with, they revive you faster, resources are shared better, boss fights are much more smoother, and most importantly, at least you can communicate where are you going, and not spread out and die one by one. And the best part is that it's insanely easy to find people right now. The game's super active. Just hop into any Nightreign Discord server or subreddit, drop a message and boom, party found in seconds. So yeah, if you want smoother runs, better coordination, and a whole lot less frustration, stop soloing and find a squad. It's really worth it. And that's it for this one. Please like and subscribe, and also share this video with your friends. That really helps the channel to grow. More Nightreign guides are on the way, so stay tuned. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.